What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Foundation First Fitness Show. This is episode 57. Sorry for the probably 3 to 4 week hiatus. Been doing a little bit of construction in the background here. Finally just finished that up. You guys can check out some of the pictures of what we did and what we changed here. Try to really kind of clean up the place a bit. Took a little bit longer than normal, but back at it and ready to go. Today's episode is basically what kind of got me into wanting to talk a bit about this was a little bit of a conversation I had this morning. One of my clients, we were talking a bit about weight gain, weight loss, nothing really crazy. I know it's not something that I usually always deal with, but I think weight gain, weight loss, and kind of fat losses is a huge component of fitness, and that really is at every level. Whether you're a professional athlete, whether you're just a beginner, body composition, which is essentially, your body's makeup of body fat and muscle, is a huge component. It's a huge driving force, and it'll really dictate a lot of where you're going, your progression. So it is really important across the board. And believe me, not just the average person, the professional athletes deal with these things as well. It's always a concern, especially when you're trying to manage the amount of body weight you have and, your fluctuations throughout the season. And as you train, whether you're a runner, hockey player, it doesn't really matter. It is still important for them as well. So the question essentially was, the athlete had come to me, it was a runner, said, if they feel like they were putting a little bit of weight around their midsection, wanted to know how to get rid of it and whether it was going to be more of a cardio thing, whether cardio was good or whether weights was good. And, they had heard a couple of things about cardio not really being useful and it being more of a weights thing or a diet thing. And, so I really wanted to just kind of touch on that because I know a lot of individuals hear a lot of things, and I mean, we all spend time on Instagram, so it's really easy for us to kind of get confused, especially when people are throwing ideas at us and throwing their opinions at us, to get really caught up in the nuances of training and weight loss, and really trying to figure out what works. Now, one of the things I usually always hear is everyone's kind of bouncing around between these, whether it's the type of workout you're doing, whether it's the type of food that you're eating. Everyone's really talking about one or two things that are really going to make the difference, and one or two things that you should never be doing and are completely false and don't really work, and you've been sold a lie. And in reality, we really just have to come a little bit higher and look at things from a higher perspective to really understand what is actually happening and what is really going to help you lose that weight that you've been trying to lose. So what I would really try to emphasize here is that overall, and number one, it is extremely hard to work or outwork a bad diet. So if you're not eating well and if you don't eat enough of the right things, there is a very, very high chance that you will struggle and consistently struggle to lose weight. Now, whether the specific things that you should be eating for your body type and how your body reacts to certain things you eat, yes, that's all a huge factor as well. They all play into detail, but obviously I can't give you any advice on that because it really comes down to an individual basis. But as it stands, if you're struggling to lose weight, the first thing you should be looking at is your diet, because that's where you could really make a lot of difference. A 500 calorie swing in either direction can have monumental effects on your weight gain and weight loss. So you really have to understand what you're eating and make sure that you're eating the right things. If you're not eating the right things, there's a high chance that you're not going to be getting the results that you want. So number one, adjust your eating. Now, having said that, what I will tell you is that what you really want to be focusing on after that is trying to figure out how to eat to the way you work out and not work out to the way you eat. So you have to change the way your mentality is in regards to that. So you shouldn't be focusing on trying to do exercise because of the way you eat. You should be trying to eat because of the way you're exercising. So if you're trying to gain muscle, you should be trying to eat to that. If you're trying to lose weight, you should try to eat to that. If your workouts are long, you should be eating to that as well. You have to adjust the way you're eating so that as you're working out, it's matching up to what you're doing, and you're actually just trying to feed your body the right things and the best things so that you can perform well in the gym. So having said that, if you're struggling with your eating, the first thing I would tell you is get yourself a nutritionist. It is without a shadow of a doubt the best thing you can do. I know there's a lot of, whether they're good or whether they're bad. That's the same thing for everybody. Just as a trainer, you can have bad or good. As a doctor, you can have bad or good. As a plumber, you can have bad or good. So it really doesn't matter. It's going to be very difficult to find the best person, and everyone's going to claim that they're the best. References. Get someone that you know that's had a nutritionist, that's seen good results with them. Get their opinion and then execute what they're saying. Follow it to a T, see if you're getting the results. If you're not, then make a little bit of a change, but you're not really going to lose that much by going to see a nutritionist to really understand whether you're doing the right things for yourself. Once you've done that, now that we've taken care of that nutrition side, we understand that nutrition has a huge effect and we've taken care of that. On the training side of things, you're always going to hear cardio. Is it gonna help you or no? No, you shouldn't be doing cardio. You should only be doing weights. Weights is really gonna make the biggest difference. You should be doing like circuits. You should be doing high intensity training. High intensity training. A lot of the main hit places usually throw in some cardio in there anyway. So it's kind of a moot point. But a lot of individuals will say that cardio is not going to do anything, and then some people are telling you that if you want to lose weight, you should do lots and lots and lots of cardio. Honestly, both are true. It really comes down to your experience level. And I'll tell you why I say that. Every single person, myself included, professional athletes included, have a specific amount of experience level and tolerance for training. So unless you're the best in the world and have literally have the ultimate endurance and have the capacity to work out for 24, I don't even know if someone could do that, but assuming someone could work out for 24 hours, if you could literally work out nonstop forever, that would be the best person in the world. Someone who can't literally lift themselves off the bed because they're out of breath, that's the worst person in the world. We're all lying in and around or somewhere along that spectrum. Now, depending on where you are in that spectrum and how much time you have to allocate, that's going to be what dictates your ability or your decision on whether you should be doing cardio or just weight training. So when you're limited on time, weight training is going to give you the most bang for your buck. But at the same time, it may not be enough because your tolerance and your capacity to do enough exercise may not be high enough. What I mean by that is every single workout is based on something we call volume. Volume is essentially the number of total reps and the amount of weight for each of those reps. So if you are squatting with 150 pounds, so assume your body weight is 150 pounds, and yes, I know your feet's touching the ground. Don't argue with me on the technicalities. Let's just assume you're squatting your body weight, and that's 150 pounds. If you do 10 reps, your volume is 1,500 pounds. So that means that you've lifted your body weight 10 times, which is 150, you got to 1,500 pounds. That's your volume of your workout. Let's say that's all your workout was. If someone comes in and has the exact same body weight, but instead of doing 10, has the capacity to do 100, their volume is going to be way higher than yours. That means they're going to burn significantly more calories than you. Now, does that mean that the amount of calories that they've burned and the amount of work that they've done is going to be enough to help them lose weight? Maybe not, because every single person's body is going to have a specific amount that they're going to be able to lose based on how much they're working out. So what you should be doing is understanding where your limitations are, get to the point where you're working out to where your limitation is, where you're not overdoing, you're not killing yourself and causing harm. You're pushing yourself to that limit, and then from there seeing what the next step is. If you have steam left in the tank, if you have time available to you, and if you are looking to shed some more weight, then introduce cardio. Here's why I say that. Cardio is something that you can do where you'll be able to do a little bit more. You'll be able to get more out of it because you're going to keep burning more calories. You're not really going to be touching that volume of weight training as much. You're not really going to tap into that as much, and you're never really going to push it over the edge. You're going to be able to squeeze out a little bit more in terms of calorie burn, which is where your weight loss is going to come from out of your workout. You're going to be getting a little bit more, a couple of more calories burned by doing that cardio. So if you have that time, yes, do it. I tell every single person I train that talks about weight loss, I'm like, your biggest goal should be increasing your daily activity amount. That's without a shadow of a doubt one of the things that you should be looking at doing on the activity side, on the training side. You need to definitely improve the amount of effort and the amount of work you're doing throughout your day. If you're not working out enough, you're not going to be losing the weight. And if anyone argues with you that cardio won't allow you to do it, and you're going to have to do hours and hours and hours of cardio, they're not wrong. They're right. It's what they're trying to tell you and what they're trying to sell you on is trying to sell you to go into weight training, which isn't wrong, but you have to understand that cardio does play an important role because some people just can't do more than 20 to 30 minutes of workout, but they still can do an extra 10, 15, 20 minutes of cardio that could literally mean the world of difference and could have a huge impact on their weight loss and on their health and actually allow them to be a lot more active. But you're almost telling, or not you, but someone's almost telling them, no, don't do that because it's not going to help. So what I would tell you is if you're going to look to improve the amount of activity and the amount of work you're doing, the amount of exercise you're doing throughout your day, if you have that time to do cardio, throw it in there. I would definitely recommend it because it will definitely help you burn extra calories. So you're going to get that weight loss. It's going to help you because it's something that's good for your body. It's going to be doing more. You're going to be doing more activity, which is always a great thing. And that's what you're really looking for. Maximize the amount of weight loss if you're looking for that, and by maximizing the amount of activity that you're doing, and also maintaining, keeping your diet and keeping your eating habits in check. That's the number one thing. So if you guys have any questions on that, I hope, really hope that answers potentially some of your questions and maybe kind of brings up some discussions that you want to have, on social media with me. I'm always there, willing to chat. And, for those of you who do know me fairly well, you guys know that you guys can always just reach out and ask me some of these questions because I know sometimes a lot of these details can kind of get lost in it. But last point before I even leave, let me just add this last one. And I wanted to talk about this one. Whether you want to look at, if you're looking at losing weight, that tiny little bit, like I said, with my athlete, the first thing I told him is, I think what happened was your activity level went down, your eating habits stayed the same. So you didn't change your eating habits, your activity level went down. They noticed that increase in body weight, which is what ties back into what I said earlier, which was eat to the way you train, don't train to the way you eat. So what was happening was his training level went down, his eating habits didn't change. Even though he was eating very healthy, he was still eating, the right amount of vegetables, he was eating good healthy fats, he was not binging on, a lot of on like unhealthy carbs, he wasn't eating, junk food, he wasn't drinking. It was just that his volume and the amount he was eating was still high. So you could still eat really well, but eat too much, you're going to gain weight. It's your activity level that's going to take over from then on. All right, guys? So if you have any questions on that, you know how to reach me. Hit that follow button if you're watching this on YouTube. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, sorry for the hiatus. Hopefully we can get this podcast rolling again. So, content. Until that next time, guys, keep building.